Hi everybody, it's Ina Bautista here, and I am just a disclaimer, I'm going live on Facebook and on Instagram, so if I keep switching between the views, this is for you to know that I'm doing it on both in both areas, so you'll have an idea that I'm paying attention to both. Today, coming in hot. Um, and I wanted to talk about it, and I realized that I haven't allowed myself to speak up on this. I wanted to talk about on admitting envy, alchemizing envy, transforming envy into personal power, and processing and doing that inner work when you recognize that you have been envious of something or someone. On the new era of leadership and how the old paradigms and old structures in leadership and authority are crumbling at the moment, and what it means to and how it's transforming, and uh, the new era of and redefining what leadership and authority mean. Also, I wanted to, and these are, I recognize that these are very layered between each other, intertwined with each other. They are layered um, together, together with the sister wounds uh, and the filters and things that we have taken on from, how we were growing up, the filters that we see ourselves through. And even despite the inner work, the amount of inner work that we've done, how it can still show up and in which way it shows up, and learning how to recognize this. And um, I'll start with the envy and personal share, and the things, uh, admitting and recognizing that there were times where I felt the envy, and I experienced envy, and how I worked through it. And it was last year when I had this experience where someone that I have admired, that I have followed for a while, and not just one person, to be clear, a few people that I have admired, followed for a while, saw them as authority. Um, they did a few things that woke up this inner feeling of envy and jealousy. And I think it took me a while, and I needed to admit that it was envy and jealousy, because only when you admit it uh, and accept it for what it is, you can transmute it. And I had a conversation today, and then this live comes off at the back, from the back of conversation I've had with two of my mastermind. There's Tatiana and Sharka, who I'm going to tag in the comments afterwards. Um, and we've been discussing this, um, the envy, and the recognizing the envy and jealousy, and realizing that I think when it comes to envy, there's a lot of shame. Jealousy, there's a lot of shame. And this is where the sister wound, I have noticed, that plays in a lot. And I've seen, I'm not, I can't speak about the other industry, but I'm talking about the in coaching industry specific, healing, mentoring, a spiritual community that I'm part of. I am seeing more and more uh, sister wounds developing, because this is how we were brought up. We were brought up that anytime someone else goes to the top, we should be envious, and there's something wrong, and we should not be, um, we should continue to judge them. And also that anytime someone speaks up about certain things that we do not feel they are right any longer, that it's automatic and immediate envy and jealousy that is the reason behind that speaking up. And I had my fair share of these accusations when I have decided to speak up about certain things that no longer resonated with me, that I thought were harmful, and I had it slapped back into my face and told, oh, you're just envious because blah blah blah, all sorts of different reasons. And I think one of the reasons why I wasn't speaking up on this as I was processing this envy and unpacking everything that's underneath those, that comes along and that goes underneath those conversation, is one of the reasons why I was afraid to speak up in a way. And I only recognized that there was fear right now, uh, as we finished today's call, is because I was afraid of the being cancelled, being the backlash, potential backlash. Um, I was afraid to an extent that I will be seen as someone who's jealous, and the only reason they're speaking about is the envy. And it took me a while. It took me a while to figure out, to unpack everything that was going on. But I had an experience where someone was doing something that it really didn't align with me, and I'm not going to go into details, but there was it really clashed with all of my values, and I saw those people as authority, as leaders, and I thought they had integrity. And when they did that, what I realized that for a while I was accepting their behavior because of the pedestal I put them on, expecting and assuming that there is a level of integrity and authenticity that comes along with the experience. And when I started having those feelings, I immediately chalked it up to envy and jealousy. And I thought to myself, my immediate first reaction was, oh, there is something wrong with you. You need to do something about that, because it's not okay. Because this is the default reaction that we have when we experience envy and jealousy, when we think we perceive it, experience that. And the automatic reaction was dismiss it and just, like ignore it, envy, feel shameful about it, to have those thoughts, to think that way. And then I sat down. Luckily, unfortunately, there were not many people that I could talk about this, that I could process it with. I had a few trusted people that I could talk to. However, I did not have a coach guide me through all this inner turmoil that I was going through, because at the same time as I was processing my own potential envy and jealousy towards someone, I was also processing the fact that the person that I have admired, like I have taken off rose glasses, pink glasses, and I have seen them and people that I have admired and thought as authority in a very different light. And when you're processing that, also with that comes with the realization that you have to an extent made a mistake, and there's also that guilt and shame for making that mistake and trusting and believing in them. So as I was going through this pretty much on my own, as there were not that many people that I could talk to, and we were kind of, they would support me. However, a lot of this stuff I had to figure out on my own and process on my own. And luckily, I'm experienced enough, and I've been in the coaching for a while. I've done NLP and energy work, that I know how to deal with this. So I sat down with myself, and I will admit this is not something that happened overnight. It took me a while because there were so many layers to it to unpack, and they were all intertwined. So you have to untangle that web and figure out where is it coming from. So the conclusions that I came afterwards were that, yes, when I recognized there is a part and there is a layer within me that was envious, not towards the person, But as my friend Tatiana said, um, it's like I was able to recognize that there was an unfulfilled desire within me, that they had envious to what I perceived I should be going for, and what I perceived as success, envy of that success, and recognizing that to that extent, in that way, I did not have it. And my friend Tatiana said it, that envy is just another expression of yet unfulfilled desire in us. And I loved so much of that, because it really definitely felt that way as I was processing it. However, as I processed and alchemized that envy, I also recognized that there was a level of, it did not, it was not coming from ego. That's one. Secondly, there was also a level, once I removed the envy, there was also a level of recognition that this the emotions that I was having and the reactions that I was having, the thoughts that I was having at the time were not only envy, but also recognizing that this person's actions were deeply misaligned with my own values and my own integrity and everything that I held dear. What these people were doing did not fully align with me. And as much, yes, there was a level of envy, not towards the person, but towards the perceived success, and because of that unfulfilled desire, there was also a level of disagreement with how they were doing things, and recognizing that it is misaligned. And also, when I processed that and I was able to hold myself in that peace and inner knowledge and assurance and certainty where this was coming from, I was able to release the guilt and shame for feeling this way. And after that, there was there was a level of I was going through the process of examining the authority that I had, or that I perceived in these people, and what made me think that their opinions, their years of experience, their the size of their audience, the impact that they were having, what made me put that a bigger value on that than my own thoughts, my own experience, my own genius. And to in a way, I realized that as I was growing up, I had this leadership and authority modeled in a certain way, and I saw it through that filter. I saw, you know, I come from a small country, and the mentality in there is anyone who has bigger impact than you, who is bigger in any way, who has more money and more influence, is by default better. This is kind of unwritten rule. And I didn't realize that this was still deeply, even after this, all this, all these years of work, I did not realize that there was this societal and generational feeling like I'm small. The cultural belief of I am small, and anyone who has whatever I perceive is more is better. And this kind of influenced my beliefs around myself and what I thought of them, how I view them, the authority that their thoughts and their um, impact had over me. And it took me a while, and with that comes another level of guilt that I have given someone else the permission. You know, it wasn't them who put that on me. It was me who, in a way, gave permission to this energy to take over, and I've put that person on a pedestal. And I was thinking last night. I was thinking about this. There were there is a reason why I didn't want to talk about it, because I thought if I speak up about this, it's going to appear as if I'm bashing another person, and some people who are perhaps have more bigger audience, bigger impact than me, who are influencers. I do not consider myself an influencer in such way. And I thought, oh, if I share these opinions, I'm going to be appear as envious and jealous, and it's going to appear as if I'm talking from the wound. And it took me a while to, even though I knew it's not coming from that way, and that I have alchemized that, I have also recognized I was still in a way afraid that it will be perceived that way. Um, and I've made a few notes here, and I really want to come to it. It took me a while to see that this was happening. And as I was processing the guilt and shame of putting people on a pedestal, I've also right. I also take full responsibility for doing so. I do not blame anyone for for that. I take full responsibility for that, because yeah, they couldn't have done it without my some permission, and it might have been subconscious and on an energetic level. However, it still happened with my permission, and it was I needed to recognize that this was, with my permission. So once you realize that this is the way, you can take you can take your power back, because then you realize, okay, I've made someone a hero of my own story. I've made someone uh, a hero of my own journey. And with that, like, you dethrone and take them off the pedestal and make yourself your own hero, the leader, the person who is in charge, your own authority. So yes, as I process the envy towards and recognizing towards the perceived success and what I thought my success should look like as well, I also processed those feelings of guilt and shame for feeling in a certain way, but also recognizing that there were uh, kind of levels, layers to it. And initial reaction to dismiss it was because the messaging, that sister wound messaging, is that whenever you challenge another woman, other people who are doing well, and whenever you disagree with them, that it's automatically envy. And it took me a while to recognize, okay, this was not envy, but there's more to it. And I also realized there were so many aha moments and breakthroughs as I was going through this, and a lot of journaling, lots of inner reflection, stepping back from the business because I had to, now that I have dethroned someone, which is, I think, also one of the challenges is also accepting and seeing yourself as a leader and stepping into that leadership and authority and redefining what that leadership and authority look like. And I don't think I was at the time, I was ready to admit and make myself my own hero, because you feel lost. Okay, now that I have removed this person as someone who I admire and who is a thought leader, who is an authority, um, when I stop following these people, when I no longer um, learn from them, buy from them, invest in them, where do I go from here? Because, like if this is all you have known, there's another, there's this kind of fear or insecurity of, well, am I up for this job? Am I up to the standard? Can I be the leader of my own life? Can I make myself, um can I take on that responsibility? So yes, there was a level of this process of learning how to be and stand in my own power and be the authority, be the leader, and see myself as the hero of my own story. And definitely, I'm not going to pretend that this is an easy job. I am not here, and I'm going to be really transparent and clear here. I think there is in a lot of the industry in terms of healing and coaching, spiritual industry and the community, I realize that there is this emphasis on quick results and quick fixes. And whilst there is something to be said, there are ways and there are situations where certain things can be as quick and as powerful and quick as you want them, and instant. There are certain things that uh, they need time, they need processing, because with all of this, you're undoing the layers and layers of the conditioning of the ego. You're undoing and unlearning years of societal and cultural expectations and learning, and the voice of others that somehow has become your voice, inner voice, inner talk, the way you talk to yourself. um, so yes, this is in a way what was going on for me at the time. And it is not easy, and one of the reasons why I withdrew from posting on social media, because now all of a sudden I have to rethink how I do my business, and you have to separate um, what is yours and what is not yours. And the reason why I withdrew was because I needed the clarity. I perceive it as I withdrew, but how others perceive it is a different matter. However, I was not showing up as much as I would have wanted to show up, or I expected of myself to show up, because I had to unlearn and identify and kind of pave a new path for myself and separate what was mine in terms of leadership, in terms of the goals, in terms of the the success and the definition of the success, and the bigger dreams that I had, which beliefs were mine, which energy was mine. Because when you go through that process and you dethrone people and you stop following them, and you step into your own power, then it comes the question, what is mine, what is theirs? And you kind of have to uh, put the on the side and see, okay, is this something that I want to continue doing? Is this how I want to continue doing my business? And you have to redefine quite a lot of things, as I said, a lot of layers to it, from the redefining what values did I still hold, and what from these strategies and approaches aligned with me and what didn't. It took a while to unpack that and to untangle it, because it was a whole web. And when you have no one to support you as you go through this process, as you're not guided by a coach, you do not have um, someone who has been through it so they can tell you, oh, this is normal that you're going through, then your mind plays tricks on you, and you have to still also handle that and your ego, and thinking, okay, am I right in thinking this? Am I overthinking it? Am I just being too critical? So all of those things I've had to unpack during that time. And luckily, I did have support with a very few close friends. However, this is not something they have gone through. So we were kind of unpacking it together, having occasional calls. Then, in between, we would process it, journal, coach ourselves. There were a lot of tears and doubts and fears that were coming up, as I personally was processing that. And with that also came a realization that, and because there were people who I worked with, who I have followed, who I have admired for a long time, and who I considered as a thought leaders and teachers, I have realized that because I put such significance over their thoughts and beliefs and um, everything, I have realized that I was not showing up in my fullness and with my authority, with certainty in my, I thought I was certain, but now that I reflect back, and it's like a benefit of hindsight, I was not in full certainty, and I thought I was. But it took me a while to unpack that, oh, okay, I'm not actually fully certain, because it was simply a light bulb moment as I processed. And to be honest, like, it's sometimes I get these light bulb moments in most odd times, and I was washing dishes, and I was working. It didn't take a lot of my conscious thought to do it, but I was thinking about that in the background, and it just hit me. Oh my goodness, there was still a level of me wanting approval and acknowledgement from all of these people, subconscious, and not even on a level that I would ask for their opinion. It's just kind of, I had this filter where I was thinking, okay, I'm gonna show up, I'm gonna do this, I have a program. And there was, at the back of my mind, there was still a level of, what would these people think about my offer? Because, and I'm going to share this one, because the offer that I had and things that I talked about were not as common and prominent in the space at the time. None of the thought leaders that I looked up to, none of the coaches, none of the spiritual leaders, healers, anyone, I haven't seen many people, or barely any, talking about it in a way that I was talking about. And then with that came the doubt whether I'm right or not, because, oh, I have learned so much from these people, but I don't see them talking about it. So I might, there is a level of doubt that I might be wrong, and maybe, just maybe, because they have been in this industry for such a long time and they have such big experience, perhaps they're not talking about it because I'm not right, because this is wrong. And I realize, oh my goodness, I'm not showing up with my offer fully because there is still a level of doubt that it was right what I was doing and what I was thinking, how I was thinking, and what was wrong. And only 6 or 9 months later, when they started talking about the exact same thing that I was talking about 6 and 9 months earlier and 12 months earlier, I realized, okay, I was right. I saw this happening. I saw that. Um, and after today's conversation with my mastermind, I realized that I was not there. There was a certain level of a leadership that I'm thought leadership that I'm still not fully owning, or was not owning. And then I'm leaving a lot of these aha moments and breakthroughs for intimate conversation and not sharing it, because oftentimes when I would share certain things, it would have been perceived as bitterness, as jealousy, as like I don't know what I'm talking about. And yeah, I wasn't showing up in fullness. I wasn't showing up in fullness because it was not. And this comes, and the leadership, and especially this new era of leadership and authority, where we are redefining what it means and who are the leaders and authority figures, when uh, we are redefining what they should be doing, and how they should look like, and who we give significance to, because the old systems and paradigms uh, of leadership and authority are crumbling. We're in this process uh, redefining what that means. And when you are the one who is at the helm, who is the leading, oftentimes you will be misunderstood. You will not, they will not understand what you're talking about straight away. You will not be listened to straight away until it becomes more mainstream. And I think this is where again, I'm realizing more and more that the strength of the leadership is being secure and assured in your own leadership and in your own messaging and in your own thought processes, even when everyone else is not. And I'm seeing more and more conversations happening around this new era of leadership and the old systems and paradigms crumbling away. And I can see that many more coaches, mentors, anyone who is in the online industry who's working with coaches and healers and mentors and guides will be going through this process over the next year or two. Even there, it's already happening to a certain level. However, it's going to become more and more prominent. So yeah, I could see this happening, and I could see that there will be a need for, and there is already a need for guidance for from those who have already gone through it. And this is one of the reasons why I had such a big nudge this year to create a program that allows you to go deeper between below those surface level exploration of yourself, below the surface level inner work. Um, and I've seen a lot of surface level stuff and work, inner work, and what is assigned underneath the coaching and therapy and transformation, it is just another layer. However, I do recognize that the healing and the growth happens in layers, in seasons, in sessions. You will not get to your full growth all in one go. Oftentimes, there will be first level, which is uh, what comes after the awareness, and then you go deeper, and then you go even deeper. And this is why I'm opening this new program, which is called Deeper, where we dive into those deeper layers, and where we're not afraid to touch on the anger and shame and guilt and envy and all those uh, emotions that are emotionally charged, that have a level of um, they're perceived as lower vibration and undesirable emotions to go through. However, they're very, very potent and important, because once we go deeper in those layers of those emotions, we can unravel everything that is connected. And oftentimes, with one emotion and with one belief, there will be a lot of tangled and intertwined beliefs and conditioning, behaviors, and emotions that are connected together. And in this program, where we literally work on detangling it all. And I made a few notes. I'm just going to check. Yep. And as I was, yes, and I made a few notes because I wanted to make sure that I mentioned this. As I processed this, and we were on the call together, and I know that this video might be all over the place. However, I really felt that it needed to be said. As we were on the mastermind and we were talking about this, I realized that I was holding, yes, there was a part of me that mistook this stepping back. As I stepped back and processed this, and I wasn't showing up in a way that perhaps it would have been expected of me to show up, I mistook it for weakness. And this internal reflection, I mistook it for weakness because I was seeing it through the filters of the old paradigm, through the lens of the old paradigm of leadership and authority and success. And we talked about this on the call. A couple of questions that I would nudge you to take away with you if you're going through something similar. What filters about myself do I need to remove, or others? And what filters do I need to put on? And what do I need to own about myself? And as we were talking, and I was saying, I saw this inner processing as weakness, rather than, because I was conditioned to look at anything that is not seen as perfection, perceived perfection, anything that I wasn't meeting certain standards, that I wasn't showing up, it was simply considered as failure and imperfection and a flaw and a weakness, something that needed to be fixed. And it is a conditioning from the culture I grew up in, from my upbringing, from the society in general, everything layered on top of each other, the subliminal messaging that we used to get as children and as young women as we were growing up as well, even now in the more recent years. and especially as well in the coaching industry, because the idea of success and authority looked a certain way, it was perceived a certain way. And I saw the process that I was going through that lens, without actually recognizing the inner power and strength it took, um, the level of skill that it needed to process all those emotions, and recognizing, acknowledging myself for all my own genius and my own, um, yeah, my own power. And this is why I wrote down, as we were talking, I wrote down a question: which filters do I need to remove? Inner, which lens? Because I was looking at myself and that experience through a lens of it's not perfect. So that lens obviously needs to go. So, in a way, okay, how do I see myself? And how does it change? Uh, how does the energy change when I look at myself through the lens that this is what a powerful leader, authority figure does? This is what a powerful woman or powerful person does. Someone who is highly skilled and someone who is um, equipped to deal with this. So, seeing myself through that lens makes makes a very interesting view. So this is what I would invite you to ask yourself: which filters do I need to remove, and which filters do I need to put on? What do I need to own about myself? Mm, where have I been putting others? Other people's opinions and thoughts and leadership and authority impact, audience size, financial um, financial goals. Where have I put those above mine? What do I need to own about myself at this very moment? Um, and there are a few. Yeah, I made a note. Where did I not see myself? And this is something that I will be journaling on and processing a bit later. But where did I not see myself as an authority? And what can I do differently moving forward? And how is this going to change? And what commitment am I going to take to change this? Um, yes, and definitely healing that part, inner part of me that felt it wasn't recognized when I spoke up about certain things, and I'm thinking, okay, yeah, this is what happens, but it's okay. It's okay to be misunderstood, and it's okay to not be recognized by everyone, and for them to question and doubt and challenge your authority. It's okay. It does not matter what they think. My conviction and my inner power, my um, self trust and self knowledge are the ones that matter. So yeah, those were a few notes, and I wanted to mention that as much as it seems that there, like, people might say they do not experience envy or jealousy towards others, I would say that's a load of bull. And the sooner we accept that these are the emotions that we all experience, the sooner we can alchemize it and process it and see what's underneath that envy. And whether actually it is envy, or you are made to believe that is envy and jealousy. Yeah, because a lot of people will confuse that with holding other people accountable, and because of their perceived, uh, because of their perceptions and perceived, you know, imbalance in superior, who's superior and who's inferior. And that's okay, that's their stuff to deal, that's their things that they need to unpack. It does not have anything to do with you. So yes, I would love to hear from you whether, and I understand that this is a sensitive topic, and I wanted to mention that in this new program that I'm running, which is called Deeper, and the sales page will be coming soon, and all the details, you'll be able to see the details. In this program, we I do not share who has signed up to work with me. I do not share personal or identifiable information unless you choose to do so. And I understand that you might not be comfortable sharing those in the comment section, which is absolutely fine. No judgment from me around that one. I do recognize that there is a need potentially for you to do so. Everything is confidential from the conversations that we have around this one. Um, if you have experienced envy, if you have experienced similar um, feelings as I've described in here, if you've been through the similar situation and you're trying to unpack and find your way forward and um, figure out how to own your authority and leadership more, this is what the program is for. If you have any questions, please do put them in my DMs or in the comments. If you feel comfortable to talk about that, that's okay. My DMs are open for that. The program will be running for 4 months, and it will be over 2 sessions. We're gonna have 2 monthly sessions. However, there is there's going to be a Voxer um, access to me, not all day, every day, 24/7. There will be specific Voxer days in between. So I'm going to share more about these details when the sales page is ready, coming along nicely, and should be there within the next week, I would say so. However, I have, in general, I have all the information with me. So if you have any questions, please do let me know. I can share the Google Doc with you if you want to. That should not be, the sales page will not be something considered, it will not be an obstacle for you to get support and find more information. The lack of sales page, of course. So yes, there are ways that, there are documents that I can share with you if you have any other questions. If you want to be, if you're ready for that deep work, and deep work is necessary for stepping into that next level leadership and owning that authority and being your own hero. Definitely a lot of unpacking to do. As I said, I do not believe, for certain things, I do not believe in quick fixes. It will be, quick fixes are for surface level stuff. This one goes a little bit deeper. So yes, I would love to invite you to join me, to coach with me. To It is the combination between coaching and guiding. I've gone through this myself. I feel in a really good place right now. And as I have given a proof to myself, I can still lead and I could still handle things even when I'm processing some deep stuff. So I have to give myself the credit for that, because I've realized that whilst all that was happening, I was dealing with everything else and it was going on. I was still showing up, perhaps not in the how others would expect me to show up as regularly. However, it was also a part of me redefining of what showing up and how I want to show up in business for myself. So if you're ready to really dive deeper into your own authority, into your own um, certainty and self knowledge and healing, uh, please do reach out. Please do reach out. If you would like to have a quick call to see if this is a good fit for you, that's also available. We can, but I trust that when you know it's for you, you know. So, yeah, that's it. I'm sending you lots of love, everyone here on Facebook and other channels, and everyone here on Instagram. Thank you for joining me. It's been such a pleasure. If you have any comments, please do share. I would say that it took me a while to speak up about this because I really didn't want it to appear as if I was envious, but also to look like as if I was gossiping and angry. If I was angry, it would have been mostly angry with myself that I allowed for this to happen in a way. There's no harsh feelings towards anyone, even though, you know, I've realized that people that I have, quite a few of them, that I have followed and admired, have done things that do not resonate with me. There's simply no harsh feelings at all. It does not come from anger towards a specific or anyone specific. It's kind of just a reflection. It was more just a reflection and owning my full power and, yeah, owning myself um, in entirety. So any questions, please do ask. Any comments, please do ask. And you can put them in the comments or in my DMs. I'd love to hear. And if you want guidance as you go deeper, I'm here as well. Sending you lots of love. Bye.